Welcome to Healing Edge, the podcast where we explore breakthrough holistic health practices designed to help you live a vibrant, pain-free life. Our mission is to simplify complex scientific terms and bring clarity to powerful healing methods. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, so get this. Today we're going deep, diving into the world of healing with bee venom.
Bee venom.
Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about taking something that, most folks would run from, sends them running for the hills, and using it to treat some seriously tough illnesses.
Wow.
Intrigued.
It's certainly a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bee venom, or apitoxin, has a really long history in traditional medicine. We know that. But modern science is just beginning to, scratch the surface of its true potential, I think.
Yeah, and leading the charge is this American doctor named Baz Moreno, working down in Mexico City. But his story, it's anything but ordinary. It actually starts with his interest in regenerative medicine, things like stem cells in the body's own, like repair kits.
Right, precisely. Dr. Moreno, he was really interested in how to sort of stimulate the body's natural healing abilities, right?
Mm.
And this led him to explore traditional apitherapy, which uses, well, you guessed it, live bee stings.
So you're saying, like, intentionally getting stung, that takes some serious trust in the process, I would imagine.
It does. It does. And it really highlights the inherent risks that were involved in traditional apitherapy. See, Dr. Moreno, he quickly realized that while this ancient practice held promise, it was also unpredictable.
Okay.
And frankly, dangerous.
And this is where his story takes a really interesting turn, I think. There was a tragic incident with a patient that completely changed the course of Dr. Moreno's work.
It was a pivotal moment, no doubt. The death of his patient, someone he was trying to help, really deeply affected Dr. Moreno. He was even charged with homicide.
Wow.
Though later cleared of any wrongdoing.
I can imagine the emotional weight of that experience, to be so committed to healing and then to face, those kinds of accusations.
Absolutely. And it would have been so easy for Dr. Moreno to retreat, to give up on apitherapy entirely. But this tragedy, as difficult as it was, it kind of ignited a new determination within him. It fueled his desire to find a safer, more reliable way to harness the potential of apitoxin.
So he was at this crossroads, faced with this tragedy. Dr. Moreno could have just walked away, given up. But he didn't. He actually doubled down on his research.
He did.
He dedicated himself to, finding a way to make apitherapy safe and accessible for everyone.
Exactly. And that's how he arrived at his groundbreaking innovation,
Right.
which is a purified, injectable form of apitoxin.
Okay, so instead of getting stung, you would get a shot. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Seems like a much friendlier approach, I'd say.
Right.
But what's actually in bee venom that makes it, so potent?
Well, apitoxin it's really a complex cocktail of compounds. Each one has its own unique properties, You've got melatonin, which is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Then there's apamin, and that one can actually stimulate the nervous system. And then, of course, we've got adolapin, which is known for its pain-blocking effects.
Hold on. Are you saying that the same venom that causes pain can actually block it? How does that even work?
It's remarkable, isn't it? See, these compounds, they interact with our bodies in some really intricate ways. So like melatonin, it can reduce swelling and pain by targeting the same pathways as some conventional medications. Adolapin, on the other hand, appears to actually interrupt pain signals before they even reach the brain.
Wow.
You are listening to The Healing Edge.
That's some seriously sophisticated chemistry going on there. But you mentioned that Dr. Moreno was using this injectable apitoxin to treat all sorts of conditions, even diabetes. Wasn't that a pretty controversial move?
Yeah, you remember that from the research we shared. It definitely raised some eyebrows, in the medical community. Because at the time, the idea of using bee products, including venom, to treat diabetes, it was basically unheard of.
Yeah.
Some even considered it potentially harmful.
But Dr. Moreno was seeing something different in his patients, though, right?
He was.
What were those early results like? What was he seeing?
Well, think about those rural communities in Mexico where Dr. Moreno was working, right? I mean, many of his patients had really limited access to conventional health care. So they were kind of desperate for relief from these debilitating conditions they had. And what Dr. Moreno found was that despite the prevailing, medical skepticism, his diabetic patients were experiencing some remarkable improvements.
So what kind of improvements are we talking about? Give us the details. What was he seeing?
Well, take, for example, the case of Senora Hernandez, a woman in her late 50s who had struggled with diabetes for years.
Mm.
She had lost feeling in her feet, which is a common complication, and could barely walk. But after going through a course of Dr. Moreno's apitoxin therapy, she actually regained sensation and was able to walk, without assistance.
Wow.
Her blood sugar levels, they stabilized. Her overall quality of life just drastically improved.
That's incredible. I mean, it sounds like this could be life-changing for people who haven't had success with, other treatments, other routes. But diabetes wasn't the only thing that Dr. Moreno was like tackling with apitoxin, was it?
Not at all. His research explored the potential of apitoxin across a huge range of chronic illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about its anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties. I mean, imagine what that could mean for people who are suffering from conditions like arthritis or just chronic pain,
Yeah.
debilitating.
It's like he stumbled upon like a kind of miracle cure hidden in plain sight, you know what I mean?
It's true.
Are there any other like surprising applications of apitoxin therapy that we haven't like touched on yet?
Oh, yeah. You're going to be amazed by this one. Apitoxin has even shown promise in treating viral infections.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking about things like herpes, where its antiviral properties can actually help manage like outbreaks and stuff.
Wait a minute. So bee venom is fighting viruses now? How does that even work?
It's true.
Yeah.
And we're still uncovering all of the mechanisms, but research suggests that certain components of apitoxin, they can actually disrupt the ability of viruses to replicate and spread.
Mind-blowing. I'm starting to think that there's not much that apitoxin can't do. This all sounds almost too good to be true, though, I'm not going to lie. Were there any skeptics like in the medical community who questioned Dr. Moreno's findings?
Of course. I mean, whenever you have a discovery that really challenges, conventional wisdom, there's bound to be some pushback.
Yeah.
Some argue that his results, they were anecdotal, they weren't scientifically rigorous enough. Others simply refuse to believe that something as simple as bee venom could have such, profound effects.
So how did Dr. Moreno respond to his critics? Did he have any like hard evidence to kind of like back up these claims?
He understood, their skepticism, especially in the beginning. It's natural to be cautious when something sounds, too good to be true, right? But Dr. Moreno was very meticulous in documenting his patients' progress. He carefully tracked their symptoms, recorded any changes, and they also conducted his own research, like publishing his findings in medical journals.
So he was able to like silence the doubters with solid evidence.
It wasn't always easy. Remember, Dr. Moreno was working outside of the kind of mainstream medical establishment, and his approach was, well, unconventional, to say the least. It took time for his work to gain recognition, but his dedication to his patients, and his commitment to scientific rigor, it eventually won over a lot of the skeptics.
It's pretty amazing to think that something like bee venom, something that most of us would like avoid at all costs, could actually be the key to treating so many different ailments. I mean, it really makes you appreciate the power of nature and the ingenuity of researchers like Dr. Moreno.
It's a powerful reminder that, we really don't have all the answers. And sometimes the most promising solutions come from, these unexpected places. But there's another aspect of Dr. Moreno's work that I find particularly intriguing.
Oh, and what's that?
Well, we've talked about, the effectiveness of his injectable apitoxin, but there's also the ethical dimension to consider. Remember, traditional apitherapy, it involves using live bees.
Right.
Which raises concerns about animal welfare.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember reading about some of the ethical debates surrounding apitherapy when I was, doing research for this deep dive. But Dr. Moreno's method, it eliminates the need for live stings altogether, right?
Precisely. By developing, a synthetic version of apitoxin, he's basically created a treatment that's not only safer for us, for humans, but also, more humane for the bees.
That's a huge win-win for me.
Absolutely.
And speaking of wins, doesn't this like synthetic approach also make the treatment way more accessible, like to more people?
Absolutely. One of the biggest limitations of traditional apitherapy is that it relies on a, limited natural resource, bee venom.
Right.
By producing a synthetic alternative, Dr. Moreno has paved the way for, large-scale production, and that could potentially make, this therapy available to people all over the world.
It's incredible to think that, something as seemingly simple as bee venom could actually hold so much promise for like the future of medicine. But let's bring it back to our listeners for a moment. What would you say is like the key takeaway from all of this? What What do we really want them to remember about Dr. Moreno and his work?
I think for me, it's about the importance of curiosity, right?
Mm.
Of questioning assumptions and
Mhm.
always searching for these new and innovative solutions, right? Dr. Moreno, I mean, he could have easily dismissed traditional apitherapy as, outdated or too risky, but instead saw its potential, right? And he found a way to make it safer, more effective, and more accessible to a much wider population.
He really reminds us that sometimes the most groundbreaking discoveries come from, challenging the status quo, daring to explore those uncharted territories. It's about the power of, human ingenuity to unlock nature's secrets and use them to heal and improve, people's lives.
And perhaps, most importantly, it highlights the importance of empathy and compassion in medicine, right?
Mhm.
Dr. Moreno's journey was fueled by a deep desire to alleviate suffering, a commitment that really, shines through in every aspect of his work.
It's inspiring, honestly. It's a testament to the power of, perseverance, innovation, and a deep belief in the potential of nature to heal. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left wondering, what other revolutionary treatments are out there, right? Like just waiting to be discovered. What other, seemingly simple solutions might actually hold the key to solving some of our most complex health challenges?
Those are questions worth pondering, wouldn't you say?
Mhm.
Perhaps this deep dive has, sparked a curiosity in our listeners to explore further, to really delve deeper into this fascinating world of apitherapy and Dr. Moreno's, groundbreaking work. After all, the pursuit of knowledge and the quest for healing are ongoing journeys, right?
Well said. Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. Sometimes the smallest creatures, they hold the biggest secrets. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and never underestimate the power of nature.
Thanks for listening to Healing Edge, where we simplify cutting-edge holistic health for your journey to a better, pain-free life. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Stay tuned for more insights, and remember, your healing starts here.